Axons Unleashed. Welcome back, everyone, to Axons Unleashed. We're back with the other half of these 50 questions for Robbie's 50th. We've done the first 30 questions in part one. We're back for part two. How are you feeling, Robbie?
Well, we just went outside and had a little break, and I said to the team there, who I've interviewed a lot of them in their little podcast, the Vortex here, I'm like, now I know what it's like to be when someone else is asking the questions. So no, they've been
rapid fire.
Yeah, they've been really cool. So it's
awesome.
Certainly I know that I've shared some things with everyone really that you had no idea about. So I hope you guys are enjoying it. Let's see what the next 20 questions brings.
So the first half we went through a bit about you, a bit about your life examples, like what are your hobbies and who were you as a child? How do you want to be remembered? And we've gone through some military stuff. So this next two sections we're going through are property related and business related. So a little bit of a swing back to a bit more professional side, but let's kick it off. So question 31, what is a common myth about your job or industry?
A common myth about the industry is that you don't need anyone to help you. Like, how hard is it? You know, we get a few buffheads on some of our stuff going, well, you don't need to fucking do this. Just open up the Pac-Man. It's not that hard. I'm like, bro.
But
if
then
it was
how many people have we seen make such bad mistakes like in property and like absolutely waste their housing entitlements?
Yeah, heaps. So that's definitely a misconception. That it's not like it can't be that hard. You know, my mate bought a property, so I'll just do what he did. I'm like, all right, that's cool, bro. Just fucking go do that. But I wouldn't have a business. We wouldn't have a business that we've helped hundreds of other people that are so grateful and so happy and so proud.
And able to go again because of the decisions and the, you know, the 7 ingredients to a healthy property market that we really, align all of our focus on is making sure that people invest in or buy properties in the right location, so they're not wasting their money, so that things are going in the right direction. So you're not like me with my Cairns property that 10 years later I sold it for 10 grand more. $1 a year.
It's all right. Yes, that's definitely a misconception, is that it can't be that hard, and why do you need someone to give you a hand?
What's the biggest challenge the industry is facing today?
Oh, interest rates going up. You know, there's been crazy 25-30% growth in a lot of markets recently. You know, as I hold up my arm like this, but really we want it to come back down to a little bit more sustainable levels. So, you know, definitely interest rates are taking some of the heat out of the market, which is good. We can't have the economy and the property market steaming ahead at 15, 20, 25% growth. Now, those people that took action and rode that wave, great. Those people that are like, oh, I'm just going to wait till like it cools down a little bit, you missed out. So anyway, yeah, as the saying goes, the best time to buy a property was yesterday, quite frankly.
What's something that everyone in your industry should start or stop doing?
Stop listening to family and friends.
Good one.
By far the majority of reasons of why people are like, yep, this is awesome, you know, going to pay my deposit, want to come on as a paying client, boom, 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 get down to it. They're like, oh, yeah, circumstances have changed. I'm like, why, mate? What's going on? I'm like, oh, well, I spoke to my family over the weekend and like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, here we go.
They think I should invest in
Townsville.
Townsville.
No, they don't think it's a very good idea. I'm like, mate, go fucking. I know that you like me and you like Axon and you like the rest of the crew, but you like your family a little bit more. I'm catching up.
That's okay.
That's totally fine. But yeah, anyway, so that's, you know, I don't feel sorry, but I'm disappointed that family and friends that haven't been educated, don't have the right mindset, are not successful in property in themselves. Why would you go and get advice from someone who actually hasn't done it?
They're very well-meaning.
Of course they're very well-meaning.
They have your best interests at heart, but whether they know the best, whether they're doing that every single day, whether they're involved in doing the research and this is the stuff our team is literally paid to do every single day for hours on end.
Yeah. That's all good. I don't mind. So what was that was the first bit. What is...
Start or stop doing.
Yeah, so stop listening to your family and friends when it comes to wealth creation, unless they have generated a huge amount of wealth by themselves, in which case you don't need me. Go talk to them and go be mentored by them. All right. And then the other bit would be start making sure that you are not, that you're working with a builder that's going to provide you a full turnkey package. That's another big mistake we see people do. Like, oh, you know, I can get the same thing you're showing me for 20 grand cheaper. I'm like, but it doesn't have a landscaping. It doesn't have a driveway. It won't have curtains and blinds. You won't be able to rent it out straight away. So again, it's just one of those things that make sure you're working with a builder that's going to provide you a full turnkey package, and an absolute full turnkey package whereby you read the fine print and you don't get to the end of the build and like, oh, that turnkey, you wanted the driveway. Oh, sorry, mate, that's 15 grand extra plus.
What's your most important lesson you've learned in your property career?
Be patient. Be patient. And every decision I've ever made with my property career is my responsibility.
Nice. What's one idea that experts in your field say that you disagree with?
Buying existing properties. You know, mate, go to an area, find an estate which is under duress, i.e. go take advantage of some fucker which is going through a bad time. Buy the property under market value, make a couple of improvements to it and you'll be right. No, it's full of shit. Oh, there's no way I would go and spend a few $100,000 on anything and buy something secondhand. Not happening. Yeah, so I fundamentally disagree with buying secondhand properties or established properties.
What's your favourite part of your job and what's your least favourite part of your job? It's funny hearing it as a job.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't have a job. I'm just living life. Well, first and foremost, so I've only had 2 jobs as an adult. One was in the military. I got frog marched out of that. The second one was with old mate that I joined afterwards. And when he found out that one day you and I wanted to start our own firm one day in the future, he frog marched me out the next day as well.
Good track record.
Yeah, good track. So I went, fuck it, I'll start my own firm.
I'll let you know.
There's only one person that can frog march me out of here, and you're just the one asking me the questions. And I've gone all right so far. So yeah, that's I just love changing people's lives for the better. It's fucking gold. Like, I genuinely love it a lot. You know, it's like our clients make so much more money and have so much, like their net position of their portfolio is so much more than any of us will ever receive. Like, the fact that we've now created over $190 million of wealth into the defence community. Have you or I made $190 million?
No.
No. Here's the thing,
I'll check
though.
the account. No.
Yeah. I would still be doing this interview and this podcast right now if I had $190 million in the bank. So I don't give a... Like, once the monetary stuff takes care of itself, the greatest thing I truly love is just that, you know, and we went down to Canberra recently, did a meetup down there, and the people that I've met over the years on Zoom but never met physically literally come to me and wrap their arms around me and go, thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you for the guidance. Thank you for the mentoring. Thank you for the team. Thank you for everything you've done. I'm like, no worries, bro. Like, there's that little thing. There's a compliment. Like, there's a... Well, what's the best thing someone can say about you? I'm like, just thank you. That's you know, it's the greatest thing.
Should we give a little plug right there that there is some meetups coming up for the
yes, early
Brisbane
next year, early in 23, Brisbane and Sydney. We're coming to see you.
The dates have been set. Well, they've been penciled in, and the team are currently looking at venues and things. So, yeah.
See you soon.
See you soon.
And you can come and wrap your arms around me or just shake my hand or fucking pat me on the ass or do whatever you want and just say thank you as well, if you like. And what do I dislike about my role? You know what? There's nothing. There's literally nothing I dislike. There's other mundane tasks, like as the CEO and the ops manager of the business, you know, at the same time, and the property coach. I want to be able to, I love having all my fingers in those pies. You know, we've got a property specialist manager. We've got a build support manager. We've got a marketing manager. You as the general manager, you guys still go and do all that other stuff. But as the owner of the firm, I'm still responsible to make sure that I can oversee all that other stuff, but I don't need to go and do it. You know, I can basically provide my my commander's guidance there, for want of a better term.
Yeah.
but I don't dislike going to the meetings. I don't dislike sitting in there just going through all the stats. I'm actively listening and I'm attentive because I give a shit. So yeah, sorry to disappoint everyone, but there's nothing about my role here at Axon I dislike. Zero.
Yay. What's the best advice a mentor ever gave you about the property industry?
The game of real estate is not about buying houses. It's about understanding the numbers. It's about putting the right financial structure in place and knowing what the differences between market valuations and mortgage security valuations, understanding what impact interest rates is going to have, what does cash flow look like, negative and positive gearing, how does an offset account work, principal and interest versus interest only, the fucking list goes on. So if you haven't watched our brand new finance videos, jump online right now and go to our webpage. They're sitting there, as a free resource for you guys to be able to consume. But please, please, please understand the numbers. The numbers are by far the most important part.
Yeah, and that's why we have, financial planner, accountant, a mortgage broker. They're such key people that we work with as well because the numbers.
Little known fact. When I went and did a week's worth of on-the-job training with old mate that I joined when I got out of the military, I literally went back down to Canberra. That's when, all that discharge stuff was occurring anyway, so it was sort of very fortuitous as far as that goes. And I want to extend some gratitude to that guy again for about the fucking 50th time to say thank you so much for giving me a chance. It really, really means a lot. And there's been other people that have left us recently, and they've gone off on their own ventures. And maybe one day they might say thank you to me one day. Probably unlikely, but because they're standing at the back of that line calling me, they're in the back of the line that people don't like me. And the line is long and distinguished, and it ain't fucking finished yet. But I went back down to Canberra. I'm like, right, as part of my career transition assistance scheme, CTAS, I want to go and do my mortgage broker's course. So do you remember that? I've, from Canberra, went up to Sydney, went and sat in the room for 3 days, learned all about the finance and the regulatory and the mortgage broking stuff. I'm not a mortgage broker. I'm not registered with the MFAA. I don't want to be a mortgage broker, but I understand the language of numbers. And Debbie from my broker and co, who's been mentoring myself for effectively the last nearly 8 years on all things to do with mortgages and finances and everything. So when I'm doing the suggested plan for everybody, all of our clients, I give her almost an 80% solution for her to then go and do the legal framework and the regulatory requirements around it. So it's one of the things that I really, really enjoy the most. But yeah, being successful in property is not about buying houses. It's about knowing your numbers. Don't ever forget that, ladies and gents.
What have you learned about being in this field that people should know? Similar.
I have learned that buying in the right, I knew this already, but I've really, really seen it lately, and it becomes even more important going forward. Most people have made money in the property market over the last couple of years. Shit, even Port Pirie has gone up in value a little bit. Townsville's gone up in value. Perth's not going down anymore. Darwin's, Adelaide's gone up a little bit. Like, oh, fucking Adelaide's booming. It's like 11%. I'm like, bro, a fucking house in Adelaide was like 340 grand. Now it's 400 grand. That's not a booming market, but sure, it's not going down anymore. So great. The market and the post-COVID boom has done very, very well. The in-COVID and post-COVID boom has gone very well. So choosing a location to buy in hasn't been that fucking hard recently.
No.
But going forward, focusing on really, really narrowing down where to buy those 7 ingredients to a healthy property market you spoke of, you've got to be surgical. You've got to be precise. You've got to be uncompromising on where you buy next, but when you buy next, because the rising tide is not going to lift all boats. There are markets across Australia going down big time. Why? Because they're overpriced in the first instance. Fuck, you and I drove down to Gerringong a couple of months ago, driving through Sydney, all the Rockdale and everything on the Princess Highway from the airport down to the south coast. And you're like, oh, I used to live over there, like these old shitty 1950 red brick fucking houses.
For over $1 million.
For $1.75 million.
Yeah.
I was like, the fuck? No wonder they're coming down in value, because go and have a look over my shoulder and go and have a look what you can buy up here for $1.7 million. A shitload more. So there are other markets that will remain resilient even though interest rates are going up a little bit. So yeah, that's what you need to focus on.
What values are important when considering the kind of business you want to build?
The values are all about the team. For me, the values are all about the team. Like, you can have a great vision, you can have a great leader, you can have a great business model, but if you don't recruit the right people, and if you don't allow the greatest challenge that a business owner has is that the belief and the passion that you and I both have in this business needs to be translated into other people. Because I'm not on 90% of the calls. Once I do my coaching bit, I hand it over to other people, and then they go and effectively service a client for the next 12 months. And if the same ethos and the same belief and the same passion and the same way we do our business is not coming through their mouth and their actions and the way that they treat their clients when I'm not there, your business is going to fucking fail. So you really need to make sure on focusing, recruiting the right people, trusting them to do the right thing. But most importantly, it's my responsibility to make sure they're trained the right way and supervised and provided guidance and provided feedback and self-assessment and self-awareness. Because like as the, really integrity in doing the right thing is when your actions when no one else is watching.
Yes.
And when I'm not on one of those calls, by fuck, if it ever gets back to me that one of my team members made a client feel like shit, Sergeant Turner will come back out and they too will be fucking doing stuff around the drill square with their pack on.
And that's why people get upset and don't work here.
Yeah. That's okay.
Question 40. We're nearly there. How are you different from your competitors?
Oh, it's called the C word. Not the one that you're all thinking about. It's got 4 letters. It starts with C, but it's called care. Now everyone's like, oh, of course I care about my client. No, you fucking don't. You're just trying to flog properties to them so you can get paid and move on to the next one. There's a reason why we've got 70% of all of our clients over the last few years that are repeat business or direct referral. No one would come back and want to go and put themselves through a build process and flirt with their financial future even more if it didn't work or they didn't want to do it again or tell their mates about it. So definitely when you have a level of care, like I literally just sat next door, another client who's now just started her journey with us. She built a house with another defence member. No names, no pack drills a few years ago. And she's now just got access to our process and risk briefs. So I'm like, oh, hey, Rach, how you going? Like, how's things going? She's like, oh, my God, if I had known all of this stuff from an education piece before we even go looking for a property, when I did my first one, I would have felt so much better about it. So the fact that it's not just a churn and burn, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, business model, and we actually care / give a shit about the outcome we create for our clients. And the fact that we want to educate and mentor them and leave them in a better place. Because ultimately, the greatest success for us is a client builds and buys a couple of properties with us and is like, see you later, Axon. Thank you so much for all the mentoring. I now know exactly what I'm doing. I'm now going to go live my life. Yeah. I'm like, fucking beautiful. That's why you came to me in the first place. Yeah. So, it's that's definitely what makes us different. And the other bit would be the fact that we embrace risk management. So I'm not a risk-averse guy. I don't do 11 years in SOCOM if I'm scared of doing shit. Like, the mission's going to happen, gentlemen, anyway. No ladies on our mission, so I'm not fucking being gender-specific here. But the mission's going to happen anyway. Find a way to make it happen. Rehearse. Get other people involved. Come up with your plan. Come up with your con-ops. Have hindsight conversations in the here and now. So I guess it's the same thing here. Property investing involves risks, and you need to be able to put things in place to prevent things going wrong. Oh, by the way, have a cure there. So when Murphy's Law strikes, you're not just sort of left in the lurch.
What surprised you most when you first started business?
How hard it is. So when, I left the business that had been operating for 7 or 8 years, and we had a reasonable presence online and we had a reasonable following. And I'm like, fucking sweet. People know me, people are going to follow me. Like, how hard can it be? I'll start my own webpage, I'll start my own Facebook group, and the leads will just come on in. Fuck me. It could not be further from the truth. So, thinking just because I was part of a reasonably successful business before, when we went out on our own with that $50 whiteboard we got from Gumtree, go back and listen to episode 1 of this podcast. Yeah. I thought it was going to be a lot easier than what it actually was. Now, don't get me wrong, come some nearly 6 years later, we've cracked the code and things do become a little bit easier, but it's fucking nearly tore you and I apart.
You wouldn't go back.
It took all of our fucking body and soul and mindfulness to get it to this point. Money, fuck me. I know what the bottom of the runway feels like, ladies and gents. Don't you worry about that. Mm-hmm. So, thinking that it's going to be easy to start your own business is fucking it's the biggest fool's legacy out there. And you know what? Good luck to everyone else who's about to embark on it. I'm not saying it's unachievable, but there's a reason why. I don't know the exact numbers, but there's way more businesses that fail than what they do succeed.
Especially
so there's
in
something
the first
in
2
that.
years.
There's something in that.
What is your top strategy for success in business?
Optimism is the first one. Grit is the other one, and belief. There you go, 3 off the top of my head. Be optimistic that you're doing the right thing.
Be optimistic, but not foolish.
Very, very true. Yeah, realistically optimistic.
Yeah.
Have an element of grit, i.e. determination. It is going to suck. It is going to be hard. You are going to have no money. You'll be like questioning yourself going, why the fuck am I doing this? But it just rolls into belief. As soon as you have as soon as you stop believing in something, don't stop believing, you'll be out the door and you will fail. Because you won't have the right levels of grit, and you'll have an element of pessimism that or self-doubt that creeps in all the time because you have lost the belief.
What are the best resources that have helped you in business?
I used to love going to seeing Americans come over here. Gary Vaynerchuk come over here, Grant Cardone come over here, and you and I'd pay a couple of $100 and we'd sit in the thing and we'd fucking write a heap of notes. Well, we've seen all the great speakers, and now, of course, we just get to watch it all online and listen to podcasts or whatever it's going to be. Immerse yourself in educating from the masters of that particular field as much as you possibly can.
Yeah.
When I go to an event like that, I don't write down what they're saying, although sometimes I do, but look, this is the main thing I'm thinking about. So here's a little sort of hack for you, ladies and gents. When you go to listen to someone speak about a particular endeavor that you want to get better at, sure, take a heap of notes and write down some of the key points. But the instant thing that you should be writing down there straight away is, what does that mean to me and how are we going to implement it? Mm-hmm. That has been a huge thing that what you and I have done over the last few years is we are the kings and queens of implementation. That's
what I was about to say. There's so much, we have business coaches, we've gone to seminars, sessions, whatever.
Spent hundreds of thousands of dollars.
But that we always do afterwards a debrief, like come together, what have we learnt and how are we going to implement that? And we do it with the team as well. They do sales training, they do marketing training, they do communications training, and then they do a debrief. They do how do we implement this? What can we come together? How do we come together as a team and come up with a plan to put this into Axon?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get your implementation hat on, team. You just get amongst it. You're wasting your fucking time otherwise. It's called the suntan effect. You're in there and you're like, oh yeah, this is fucking awesome. It's fucking gold. And then you shut your book and you never open the book again and you never ever open it. And then the money and time and resources and effort that you've gone to even go to that event in the first place mean fuck all. And technical term for zero.
And people often complain about business coaches because they're like, oh, it didn't work.
No, you didn't implement.
Well, they don't do it for you. They're not running your business for you. So, yeah.
So good.
What has fundamentally changed about your work from when you first started until now?
What question are we up to, just so the listeners can keep a bit of a track on what's
44.
going on? 44. We're 25 minutes into this second session. What's the question again, please?
Question 44. What has fundamentally changed about your work from when you started until now?
Well, we've got more people than just you and I.
That's true.
So certainly understanding and being a scholar of workplace dynamics. Like I'm fascinated by having new people come and join us. You know, Amana's joined us recently. Luke's joined us recently. Hopefully have another person join us at the start of next year. And then we're pretty much done from a recruiting perspective for the next little while.
We kind of say that every
when
6
I'm
months.
like, oh, there's a good idea. Let's recruit that person. I'm like, oh, that'll be better as well. But yeah, generally from there. So, You know, the whole form, storm, norm, perform, workplace dynamics, teamwork stuff there. And then you would join onto the next thing if you want to get really bloody technical with me. But anyway, watching the human dynamics in here. So I love it, the fact that we work together, we play together, we socialise together, we support each other's family together. I guess it's not, coming to Axon is not a transaction, it is a lifestyle.
Yeah.
You need to embrace it.
And it's a family.
You embody it, you believe in it. Once you get people like that, they don't just come to you to get their pay in that like that transactional manner. Like, oh, fucking cool, it's Wednesday, it's fucking hump day. It's fucking hump day. You say that again, you'll be fucking rolling on your hump out the fucking door.
Or I can't wait for the weekend.
Yeah, good. You go have your weekends with someone else then. So no, we're never here late on a Friday. Let's just be clear. There's plenty of poets' days happening. Piss off early tomorrow, Saturday. Fuck, I learned that when I was about 18. But anyway, it is a really, really great workplace culture to have, but it ain't easy. You know, there's some ups and downs. There's been plenty of tears in here. Quick disclaimer, none of them have been mine. But you know, that's certainly something that we have changed as individuals, as leaders, as mentors. Then we, you know, as we grow the business. You know, we had you and I plus 1, you and I plus 2. Now there's you and I plus 15. So, you know, it certainly has, you know, and there's been a few people come and go during that time. So we had about 15 people in the business now for about 2 years, but there's probably been about 10 people change over. Yeah. You know, so there's that extra workplace dynamics right now. And I've said it plenty of times publicly before, and I'll say it again now. Even though the people that were part of Axon during its first couple of years provided outstanding service to us. And we're very, very grateful to them for doing that. But Jesus, the superstars we got working here now are fucking weapons. And I love every single one of them. It's just...
We talked before about values aligned, and I have never felt that a team has been more values aligned to Axon until now. Like they are living and breathing the values and the mission and the vision that we have, you know, set forward, and they absolutely, you know, live and breathe. They believe it. They want to help the people that, you know,
their passion and their belief. Yeah. Even our videographer here, Daniel, is in the studio. He went away for a week, and other people were doing a few video things. They're like, "Oh, see you later, mate. We fucking, you know, we don't need you anymore." He goes, "You can do the video work, but I'm not leaving. I'll find another fucking job." I'm not leaving. And so I love it. Work,
but I'm not leaving.
I love it when people say that I'm here for a long time.
It's kind of cool as well when they do come back from break. They're like, "I missed you guys."
Yeah, absolutely. Like, or we've got like the Slack chat channel going, and they're like, and then they're still bloody sending memes and stuff. I'm like, "You're on leave. Fucking stop doing work stuff." They're like, "Oh, I miss you guys."
Dubs just put his hands up. He's like, "That was me."
All right. What are we up to? 45?
Yep. What is the biggest problem you or your team solved in the last year?
Working, ditching service providers that weren't able to handle the crunch when it came to COVID.
I think it was always living by our brand promise.
Yeah, well, that's a way better. We should swap seats for the last 5 questions. No, you're absolutely right, Tami. As always, you've always put things in a way better way than I. A better way than
Goodest English.
Yes. But you know what? When we have uncompromising standards, and if it's the greatest risk we take, once we introduce a client to anyone, be that, let's do it in sequential manner, mortgage broker, builder, solicitor, building inspector, accountant, property manager, or accountant can be like at that stage or later on, whatever it's going to be. But as soon as they are talking to someone who doesn't wear an Axon shirt, if that service provider doesn't give them the same feeling, if they have a poor experience with that service provider, whilst they might not blame us, we're involved in the transaction because we made it occur via an introduction, and therefore there's chinks in our armour. Yeah. And I will never, ever compromise on the standards as far as that goes. Don't get me wrong, I'm not like a one-shot wonder. Someone doesn't have a poor experience, I'm like, oh, fuck you guys, I'm not using you guys again. I'll unpack it and we'll do an AAR and we're like, all right, how can we improve things better? But if there is a trend going on and there is a service provider which is constantly providing Axons clients shit service, you don't deserve to work with the people that we spend time, effort, money, resources to find and coach.
Yeah.
Go fucking find your own clients. And I've cut people and firms away, and I am proud of doing it, and I'll continue to do it down the track, even though, again, the firms and the posse and the other strategic partners that we've got are fucking brilliant right now. And I love all of you, every single one of you.
And
but
we
don't
spoke
drop
about-
your standards ever.
We spoke about having, repeat and referral business, and that goes in line with that whole journey. If people are having a shit time at the end, if people are having a shit time with their property manager, why would they want to invest in property again? They'll go, oh, stuff that was so hard. I never want to do that again. And even though this year there has been delays, there has been, problems in the industry.
We're living it with our own house.
Correct. But even though things like that have happened, it's the way people handle it as well, the way they communicate, the way that they deliver information and just answer people's questions and provide a good experience even in the shit times.
Yep.
And so it doesn't always have to go smoothly, but you do have to come from the right place and communicate and act with good integrity, like the best integrity and
Agreed. Right. Good question. I love that. Yeah. So just closing comment, I shall never ever compromise on that.
What's one initiative on your whiteboard that wasn't there 30 days ago?
One initiative on my whiteboard that wasn't there 30 days ago. I don't know exactly what. They must be talking about my mental whiteboard. I've got an initiative. I only put it on there yesterday.
Oh, brand new.
I've really, really loved the professional development stuff we've been doing intermittently throughout the year. One initiative we're going to do for next year, you're hearing this for the first time, take it as your commander's guidance, GM. We're going to do a half day of CPD every month. Ooh. And it's going to be formal and it's going to have a bit more structure around it. Okay. So we're
doing it quarterly at the moment.
Yeah, I want to update that. I want to get it done 11 or 12 times a year now. Okay. There you go.
I love it. I always love the personal development anyway. I love personal and professional development, growing the team, not just, what they're doing, coming to work every day and helping our clients, but also how are they developing as a good human? How are they going home to their families? How are they living their life? How are they sharing that with their families, their kids, leading by example? Yeah, I love
Do you know who I was listening to yesterday when I came up with this?
Who?
Brene Brown.
Oh.
Brene Brown is an American. She's like a white Oprah Winfrey, if I can be complimentary.
A lot of people know Brene Brown.
Okay, good. I hadn't. Well, sorry, I've known about her for a few years, but I was watching some of her stuff.
I was just saying he doesn't know
So
either.
she's got this new book out, and I don't have any commission against the book, all right? So just I'm not banging anyone's drum here. But I was watching some HBO clips on the Qantas flight home yesterday afternoon, and her new book is called Atlas of the Heart. And fuck, it is good. She was talking about the differences
between... next Robbie's Rex?
It will be. This is a sneak peek here, ladies and gents. She was talking the differences between envy and jealousy, for instance, and comparison and resentment, etc. It was just fucking good to hear her talk about those things. So yeah, at the end of the day, as a coach, as a life coach, property coach, whatever it's going to be, as a CEO, as a leader here, I want to be able to understand human dynamics and that sort of emotional quotient stuff. So probably a little known fact, I'm a bit rough around the edges and I'm absolutely from the country, but I'm right into that stuff. I really, really give a shit about the way people think, the way they feel, the way they act, and how I can sort of understand that better to make sure that we can provide the right environment. I mean, that's the ultimate goal as a CEO, is to create a company and create the right environment to recruit the best people so you can provide the best services and have the best clients. But it all starts with you, me.
Oh, there's a Brene Brown, another, I think it's a Netflix special
or
as
TED
well.
Talk or something.
No, I think it's a Netflix. She's all about being brave as well, being brave and being, courageous as a person, doing the right thing.
All right, we'll do another podcast about Brene Brown another time. What do we got? 46 or 47?
47.
3 to go, ladies and gents. I really hope you're enjoying this, by the way. I have
4 to go.
4.
There's 50.
Oh, you're right. 4 to go, including 47.
What's one thing your business or successful venture... Hang on. 47. What's one thing your business did that you didn't expect?
Expand so quickly. I didn't expect us to have, even though, like I said, we've had about the float of 15 people or so for the last couple of years, which has been really good. And it's a good number to have. Like, it's not too many. Like, it's not just, there's not an office with 4 people here.
Yes.
There's an office with, enough depth and enough breadth and width, I suppose.
But it's also not 100 that you don't know the team.
So it's a good little size right now. When you and I first did some business coaching, we're like, in about 10 years' time, we'll have 13 people. And we actually
I remember that. We did an org chart.
We had it mapped out per person. We'll recruit this person, we'll recruit this person, we'll recruit this person. And then you know what happened? I literally, the thrill of helping people and the dopamine hit I was getting from helping people, I was like, let's go do that again. Let's go do that again. And then it just kept coming and it kept coming. And I'm like, fuck, now we need some more people. I'm like, and I'm literally just hooked on trying to help as many people as we possibly can. Yeah. So that's where it came from. I didn't expect us to grow so quickly, but I'm glad we've flattened out. I'm glad we've found our groove. We're going to expand from a depth and experience perspective, perhaps over the next couple of years. So when we do decide to have a bit more of a growth spurt per se, and maybe bring on a few more people, we won't have people that have been here for 7 months or 9 months or 10 months. Where everyone will have a couple of years experience. So we'll be really fat as far as that goes. The Axon spread.
Probably fat from all the schnacksons. What's the biggest takeaway you hope listeners learn from this?
That I'm real. Actually, you should know already that I'm pretty real. I'm very no bullshit. I have a very small filter. I've got another little saying is that when you care as much as I do, I don't care. I don't care what other people think. You can be a hater and that's easy. You can be a fucking keyboard warrior, but unless you're the man in the arena like I am, unless you're here having a fucking crack, unless you're here donating tens of thousands of dollars to veteran charities and here providing a workspace for other veterans to get out and have a soft landing, shut the fuck up. That's what I want. That's what I want people to know about me. If you didn't already.
What's next for you?
I'm never going to sell Axon Property Group. I'll tell you that right now. So I'll be here whilst my ass points to the ground. She's like, oh, is that right? Dubs is like, sweet, I got a roll. But no. What's next for me is solidifying our position in the market. We've been. I remember like we've been together. Sorry, get your fucking words out. I remember we've been going for like 3 years. I'm like, oh, sweet. Like, I feel like we've got our training wheels off now. And then we got to our 5-year anniversary last year. I'm like, oh, I feel like we're in university now. And I just sort of feel like we've really, really got that reputation in the market, and we've got that followers, and we've got that community, and we've got just so many people that love working with us. I can't wait to, as I provided some direction and guidance for half an hour ago, probably 2 hours ago, in the marketing meeting, I'm like, let's do more behind the scenes. Let's do more reels. Let's allow people to get to know us as a fabric, as the heart and soul of the business even more. I just really, really think that people are gonna love that. So I'm looking forward to showing more of myself to the world. That's my next immediate thing, is that I want people to know even more about who I am as a person. And next year I've got my 10-year anniversary of getting out of the military.
So we've got your 50th
in another few weeks.
Hopefully the house will be in by
the Chateau Le Tourneur shall be built sometime in earlier to mid next year.
We were hoping to be in for your 50th, slightly delayed, and your birthday came up anyway. And
that'll be the 23rd of August 2023 will be my 10-year anniversary of getting out of the military.
Wow. There you
to
go.
2013. 28th of August, 23rd of August, 28th of August, 23rd of August. So stand by for even more exposure and more vulnerability from me on that 10-year thing.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Okay. And big number 50. Happy birthday, Robbie. Happy 50th. But the final question is a real simple one. Is there any question that you wish I had asked?
No, I've really, really loved the questions so far. It's been insightful. It's been good to go through like my upbringing, what it was like in the military, transition, being in business, lessons learned, property stuff. At the end of the day, this is me. You're not seeing me as a facade. You can I lived and breathed being in the military. My fucking blood run green. Like when you first met me, I was a fucking walking, talking military machine, ripped like a fucking deep sea racing mullet.
And you'd wear a lot of cam and a lot of ugly sneakers and
caps on backwards and shit like that. And I'm like, no one will know I'm in the military. She's like, you dress like a fucking wanker. What are you doing?
I didn't quite say.
But you know what? This is me now as well. I'm all in. I'm doing this, 100% I possibly can. I'll leave you with one of our little metaphors. And Luke and I say this every now and then on the coaching sessions. We all know that when you go on exercise, you do things at like 70 or 80%. You're at Shoalwater Bay, you're at High Range, you're at Coltana, whatever it is, and you might even be doing a mission rehearsal exercise and you do things at 85 or 90%. But no one's shooting at you. No one's going, unless something really tragic occurs and unforeseen, nothing bad is going to occur. So you go through the motions, no worries. But when you're on operations and you're doing things for real and the outcome and the effort and the things that you do have consequences, good, bad, or otherwise, you're fucking doing things at 110%. Axons on operations 24/7. I'm not doing this as a rehearsal. This is not just me having fun with people's lives going, oh, let's fucking put a plan in place and see if this is going to work out and fuck people's financial futures. So I really, really want, I'll leave it with that, people. If you want to know why I'm so passionate about stuff, it's because I'm doing it for real and why we exist and why what we do is so important that I'm in this forever. Awesome. Tammy, thanks for hosting.
Thank you. Thank you for being raw, real, vulnerable. And I really enjoyed that too. I hope all of our listeners enjoyed that. But yeah, we wish you a very happy 50th this month. And I'm sure lots of our Axon Elite and our Axon clients will be sharing our very happy birthday with you.
Fantastic. Thanks very much. It was a really great opportunity to be able to do this. See you all soon.